YOOOSKIII, what's good everyone? In today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys the best tips to find your perfect sensitivity. Personally, I've always had a hard time finding the right sense, but by the end of this video, you will not have that problem. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Now, the very first thing you want to do is go into your settings and go over to this tab right here, the controller tab. Once here, scroll down until you see an option that says use advanced options. You want to turn this on. This setting allows you to go into more depth when it comes down to choosing the right sensitivity for you. Now, once you've done that, you're ready for the next step, which is choosing between linear and exponential. So on that same controller settings tab, go all the way down until you see the look input curve, and here you should see linear or exponential option. Now, depending on your playstyle is how you would decide which one is best fit for you. Linear is for players that are looking for faster builds and edits because this allows you to have more control over your analog stick to be more precise. The only downside would be aiming because of how sensitive it is to the smallest touch, but that can always be improved with a little practice. Expo, on the other hand, is for players looking to have God aim. Unlike linear, with Expo, you're on an input curve. For those of you who don't know what an input curve is, just imagine a semi-truck at a red light. When the light first turns green, the truck just can't go 0 to 100 miles per hour instantly. It slowly goes up until it reaches the maximum speed it wants to be at. That's the same with Expo. While aiming and turning, you'll start off slow until you reach your target, which allows you to be more precise. Which is why this setting is known for God aim. The only downside would be editing and building because of how slow it starts off, but as long as you practice, those things won't be a problem at all. Now, before rushing in to choose one of these options, I would highly recommend trying both settings out to see which one you feel more comfortable with and the one that best fits your playstyle. Now, once you figured that out, here are some settings that you can use as a starting point. This applies for both linear and expo, also known as exponential. Starting with your X and Y, which is also known as your horizontal, left and right, and your vertical, up and down, look speed. Now, I would recommend putting this anywhere between 40 to 55%. Start with 40% and work your way up until it feels best fit for you. Next up, we have the infamous dead zone. Dead zone is what causes the worst thing that can happen to a controller player. Can anyone guess what it is? Drum roll, please. Stick drift. Now, I'm gonna be honest. This can ruin a whole day of gaming once it gets to a certain point. This is why making sure you have the right dead zone settings is very important because it helps stop unwanted movements such as stick drift. I would recommend putting this anywhere between 5% and 15%. But if you're already having problems with stick drift, I would recommend going a tad bit higher than 15%. Yo, we are almost done, guys, but next up we have something called ADS aiming. ADS aiming is the speed you move at while aiming and holding down on your left trigger. Now, I would recommend putting these settings anywhere between 5% and 15%. Play around with it until it feels best fit for you and go with the flow, bro. Lastly, and finally, for your build and edit sensitivity, which is the speed you move at while editing and aiming. Now, I would recommend putting these somewhere between 1.3 and 1.7. That way you're not too fast and you're also not too slow. Now I know finding the perfect sensitivity can be really hard at times, but as long as you follow these guidelines, it'll make finding the perfect sense a whole lot easier. We all struggle with something, but as long as you can stay focused and positive about the situation, I promise you'll see some type of improvement before you know it. But I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you guys please could give this video a thumbs up and drop a subscribe if you're new here. But without further ado, see you guys next time. Let's get it!